You just found the perfect product that helps with staying cool during hot summer runs. No more gross warm water. Stay cool with this product from Gear Handle. This hydration tube cover helps keep your water cool and easily accessible. Stay hydrated during those long summer runs or even delay from freezing in the winter. Plus, they're compatible with various brands of water bladders and come in various colors. Visit gearhandle.com and use promo code H2O today.
Hey everyone, you're listening to The Public Affair with me, Andrew G. I see someone different every episode, but do me a favor, keep it between us. Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Andrew G, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Public Affair. Of course, before we continue, I definitely want to use this opportunity to thank Mike and Allison at Rogue Media Network for all this time. We're like a whole little system now. We're just coming in here. It's like a show. Anyway. And of course, I want to thank everybody who continues to tune into The Public Affair, everybody that continues to subscribe, share an episode. You guys are the best. Thank you all so much. I truly appreciate you. Before we continue with these very special guests that I'm so excited to finally have onto the show together, I definitely want to use this opportunity to give a shout out to just a few of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to us by Four Brothers Construction with my boy Joe Olvera, who provides custom home designs and renovations. He also focuses on roofing, remodeling, plumbing, tree removal, electrical work, and much, much more. Joe and his entire team of men are building affordable dream homes for you. I can't wait for them to build that shower that they said I can watch them build and possibly call the number on the screen with Four Brothers Construction, my boy Joe Olvera. Thank you so much for being a longtime sponsor, bro. I truly appreciate you. Of course, the B&J Refinishing with my boy Frank Biza. He focuses on resurfacing bathtubs, counters, sinks, tiles, and more to original showroom quality. He offers 5-year warranty on most work and has the best prices in town, darling. He also has inflatables, a mechanical bull, margarita machines, tables, chair, a foam machine, and so much more, making all your parties super duper lit. My boy Frank is out there doing the thing, and he's been a long-time sponsor of the show. Truly appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. Oh, of course, to my bro David Santabanez with Alinea Real Estate. He's the #1 sales agent in his office at Alinea Real Estate to help you buy a home or sell your property. Make sure you follow him on Facebook at David with Alinea, or call the number on the screen, darling. For all your real estate needs, my boy David is out there doing the thing. We just had a really, really great event at the 2022 Back to School Bash. It was so much fun. Thank you so much for all you do for me, bro. I truly appreciate you. Oh my goodness, if you guys haven't gone, of course, the Pee Wee's Crab Cakes of Texas with Anika Armstrong, serving the most authentic Cajun cuisine, darling, with a wide selection of signature crab cakes, pasta, seafood, and more. Now, my favorite is the Krabby Seafood Pasta, which I love rolling around in, but their top recommended is the Southern Fried Catfish Special, served with seafood, pasta, potato salad, and 6 fried shrimp. The fish is topped with Houdat sauce. I'm not telling you what it is. You got to head over to 108 Jim Drive in Hewitt or order online at orderpeeweescrabcakesoftexas.com. To my girl Anika, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode and being a longtime sponsor. I truly appreciate you, girl. And of course, to Waco Fencing and stuff with my boy Juan Morales. Now, Juan builds privacy fences and chain link fences, darling. Perfect for all that extra at-home privacy. He also builds wood decks, stone patios, and gorgeous flower beds, darling. Contact him with the number on the screen for your consultations. And my boy Juan Morales, thank you so much for being a longtime sponsor and all you do for me. I truly, truly appreciate you. And of course, we can't go on without thanking Mr. Enrique Jimenez with Jimenez Bakery, a local bakery specializing in a wide selection of fresh and affordable pan dulces. Also, the best tres leches cake for your party or for yourself. The mocha tres leches is for me. I love rolling around in it. Also, get a cup of fresh elote if you have a different type of craving, darling. Locations at 1915 Dutton in Waco and 302 West Elm Street in Hillsboro. To my boy Enrique, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair with Jimenez Bakery. I truly appreciate you, bro. All right, guys, so like I said, I've been really, really excited to have this next guest back onto the show. I knew that when he came back, I wanted his wife to come back because I love them so much, both of them so much. I didn't think the wife was going to be down, you know. I didn't know if this was her cup of tea, but of course she agreed because we've met plenty of times and she knows I have nothing but the best intentions. I would love to welcome back to The Public Affair Adrian Fajardo from episode 6 and his gorgeous wife, darling. Cece Fajardo is here with him. How you doing?
Good. Doing really good.
Adrian, don't be acting like you've never been on the show before. Okay? Why are you acting all shy?
Andrew, you just doing a great job. I'm just on press. I'm like, man.
Thank you. Oh, you know what? Because when you came on the show, we didn't have that many sponsors. I think we only had like, what, 2 or something? Yeah. And now I have too much to keep up with. I have a whole system now. It's crazy. Yeah. It's a blessing. Absolutely. It is. Yeah. So, no, I'm really, first of all, and thank you, Cece, for coming. I really didn't think you were going to be down. I'm not going to lie. Okay. I know you'd be perfect for the show. So, you know.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, because you know what I like about you guys is that you guys are obviously a very strong couple, you know, from what I see and what I've always envisioned. And you guys have this really, really great way about yourselves with like staying above the fray. And you guys are never mixed into any of the mess that other couples are mixed into. And I always want to be y'all. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you guys are powered by faith is what I like to say, but you're still like really urban and it's like cute. You know what I mean? And I love it. Like you fit in with us, but you're different. It's just, that's just me. I don't know. And you know, with Adrian, I had you on the show on episode 6, and we got really deep on that episode. which I really appreciate. You got really deep about your family and some things that I went through, and definitely ruffled some feathers, darling. But I always say when people ask me what my favorite episode to record, I'm not even like fronting. When people ask me what my favorite episode to record was, I love every single episode that I've done, every single one. But yours always struck the most with me, for sure. Episode 6 to this day, 2 years later. So just had to tell you that since you're here. No, for real. Yeah. So how do you feel about being back?
Well, I feel great, and I think that we both have grown a lot since then.
Oh yeah.
And so I think that what I've experienced is that people keep coming up to me after 2 years, how that podcast not only it really impacted them, which was really one of my goals when I came, is like, how can I impact other people through a podcast with Andrew? So that was great.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think that's really great that people have resonated so well. I mean, obviously, a lot of people watched it, and I mean, what did you first think when Adrian told you he was coming onto the public affair? I mean, did you even know about it? Because we were still fresh. You know what I mean? So, I think the last 5, you were episode 6, right? And so my 5 episodes before that was very salacious. You know what I mean? So did you have any reservations at first? I'm curious, or were you just like, oh, you should do this? Or?
I mean, I just thought it was cool, like. I mean, he gets invited to stuff, but I think that was one of the one of the first times. It's like, hey, I'm on a podcast. It's like, oh, okay, that's different. That's cool.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
It was nice.
It was really cute the way it all went down too, because like I was originally getting your brother Angelo onto the show, and he was supposed to be episode 2, and then we started this show in the middle of COVID, so everybody didn't want to come on this show. I was like biting and scratching for guests, and I always had to talk to Adrian. Adrian was like the middle guy.
Yeah.
And then so when we had to cancel because of that, and then I said, well, what are you doing? Like, you want to come on? I mean, you're in that family too. You know what I mean? Why don't you come on in? So thank you for giving me the opportunity to meet with you.
Man, that's a great point that you came up with, and and that inspired me because you brought that out of me. Yeah. Because I was like, man, I do have a story too.
Right.
But you're like, Adrian, what are you doing? And I was like, all right, well, just come on the show. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on the show.
Well, it's true because it's no secret, and I wanted to get into you specifically with you about it. Your family had that name going around for a long time. I mean, had quite the reputation in the past. Obviously, we talked about it on the show, and and we all I love Angela. I love your dad too. I had them both on the show, which was an experience. Okay, that was we'll talk about that later. But okay, which I love them both. But yeah, I was like, you're Fajardo. You went through possibly the same things, maybe not as intense, but you still went through your own, thing. I was like, yeah, let's get you on there. You know what I mean? It's about inviting the underdog, and that's what I did. And it ended up being like one of the greatest episodes I've ever recorded. So thank you. And shout out to Angelisa, who was in the back there just being patient the whole 45 minutes. Okay, you can see her in the background just flipping through the magazine. It was really cute. I watched it last night. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. God, I just I've lost so much weight. Okay, so anyway, why don't we start by introducing you guys? So for anybody who may not watch episode 6, Adrian, of course, let's start with you. Introduce yourself to us and a little bit about you, and then we'll move on to Cece, of course, because we got to get to know Cece on the show.
Yeah. Well, so first off, I am a husband. We've been married for going on 3 years, which is really great. It's been wonderful. Yeah. I'm a new father. We just had she's 2 months old now.
Oh, you just had the baby.
We just had the baby, and so I can call myself a father now. And I am also an associate pastor now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm an associate. That's my title, associate pastor.
Oh, okay.
And also I am a mentor coordinator too. So that's another title that I was put on me, so I'm really grateful.
Are you still working at school, or you don't do it anymore?
So I am still working at the school district.
Okay.
I'm going back, and they gave me a new role. It's kind of like a up in the air kind of role. Kind of got to make it up as I go.
Oh, okay.
Which is exciting.
There you go.
It's challenging, but it's exciting. So that's a new role that I'm gonna be in.
That's how you know they like you, is when they make up a role for you.
Yeah.
You just make your own rules, and this is what's going on.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, and when I would tell people, they're like, hey, what do you're not going to go back and be a teacher? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to go back and be a teacher. I'm kind of, I didn't know how to explain to people what I wanted to do.
Right.
So they just kind of created a job for me.
Right.
All right.
Side note, Jerry Dancer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tell him stop playing, come on the show.
Man.
I've been trying to get Jerry on for about a year already.
Jerry Dancer, come on the show.
Come on,
man.
Tell him it's not that bad. Tell him I don't bite. I promise. I know when I can do these things. Okay? And Cece, what about you? Can you introduce yourself to us, please? A little bit about you and all that, growing up and all that.
So, growing up and all that.
Well, why don't we just start with who you are? Whatever.
So I'm Cece. I taught, I was a teacher. I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Oh, wow,
a lot
okay.
different.
Yeah.
So I'll be home with the baby. Motherhood has been the hardest thing I've ever done.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
it is tough, but there's so much joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
So what was your life growing up? I mean, are you from here in Waco or?
yeah, so I grew up around South 29th. I grew up on South 29th and then Ross. So
Yeah.
a lot of my early years are on those streets.
Is that South Waco? Is that what that is?
Yeah, South Waco. Sorry, yeah.
And so what the crazy thing is that she grew up on South 29th Street and I grew up right behind her on the same street.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, and then she moved to Hewitt and we moved to Hewitt around the same time.
Yeah. Oh.
And so, but you know, her dad and my dad's stories are completely different.
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let her explain a little more.
Okay.
About my dad?
Yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad grew up in the projects. He was just bouncing back and forth from Waco to Houston in the housing, you know. So yeah, he just worked his butt off and he drives the big semis, the big semi 18-wheelers.
Yeah.
So he does that, and so he really just came out of that poverty and just got us out too.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I was going to say, growing up in that type of environment, I mean, in housing projects and all that, how did you not turn out to follow suit? Do you know what I mean? No, because that's what happens. And,
Well, I didn't grow up in them, but
your dad did.
my dad did.
Okay, gotcha.
But I did grow up on Ross, and that's when I was about 5 years old.
Yeah.
And my mom was pregnant with my sister, and there was a drive-by.
Oh, wow.
So our house got shot up, and it was just bullets everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
So that's the reason we moved to
That you moved
Hewitt.
to Hewitt, right?
Yeah, my dad was like, "Nope, we're going." Yeah,
We were going to give it a shot, but forget about it. Okay,
we liked it. Yeah.
So growing up for you individually, I mean, with your dad doing all that, was there any hardships for you or anything, or was it a pretty good idea that you were pulled out of there so quick?
I don't. No, I think my parents did really great.
That's
they
good.
did a great job.
Yeah.
Despite, that event. My mom did go through like postpartum depression with all of us. So
for sure.
she had a lot of anger and, but I think she did the best that she could.
Yeah. No.
Like that stuff is not a joke.
No. Well, I'm happy that you brought that up, honestly, because you're a new mother. Okay.
Yeah.
And a good friend of mine is a new mother as well. And, when we talk about like, it kind of falls into mental health, like as Latinos, and we're not really like allowed to acknowledge that and all that and whatever. With postpartum, is this something that you as a new mother are dealing with right now too? And
I'm not right now, I wouldn't say. But the first 2 weeks, I know the first week we were in the hospital for 4 days.
Yeah.
Just different factors with the baby. But after that, the first week at home is when it was really like, I was just like crying all the time.
Right.
Couldn't control it. Just different thoughts. I didn't have any thoughts about harming the baby, which is what my mom had. My mom had thoughts of that, but I did have thoughts of like regarding myself, like it would be better if I died, like stuff like that. So
it's weird how that happens to a woman's body, right? Like, and so how did you handle all that? I mean, in the beginning, because I'm sure it's different. You know what I mean? And again, like I said, I just saw it for the first time, and I was like, "This is nuts," but it's so true.
Happen
it's so
to
true.
anyone, anytime. Yeah,
for sure.
And I think that was one of the most hurtful things that I could have like really experienced, to see like my wife in pain.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was bringing me pain, was the fact that I couldn't do anything for her.
Right.
And so she was coming to me, but it's like, man, I don't know the woman experience in that. I can't understand that.
Right.
And so until she was starting to open up to other women, they were able to relate to her.
Oh, okay.
But I couldn't really do that.
And now it's more of I'll have temptations, like those thoughts will kind of
come up.
Not as much as they were that first week, but it'll be just randomly, like it'll be like crazy
So do you find solace in like the group of women that you've talked to about it and stuff like that, or?
I've actually just more recently just confided in Adrian.
Okay.
Yeah, because it wasn't like that the first couple weeks. It's more just random, and we'll pray about it or.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, I got to spend the night at their house one time. Remember that big giant snowstorm that we had?
Yeah.
Homeless for like a week. It was terrible. and so the next day, I noticed the first thing that you did when you woke up was you read the Bible. Listen, I just did not grow up like that, so it was different for me.
I didn't either.
I didn't either. Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay. So how did you start that? Because it was just weird. Like, I mean, does that kind of like set the tone for your day, or like what did the decision to do that come from?
Really seeing him.
Oh, really?
Seeing him do that faithfully every day, and so it's just a habit now. But like being a mom,
right?
All the time goes to the baby. It is hard.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
harder. But
so you can't really get up and read the Bible anymore.
No.
Well, you tried to at least.
I do. I used to get a lot of reading done in one sitting one day, in the morning. Now it's like.
Go to sleep. Give her some melatonin, like some NyQuil.
No, it's
sometimes it's just me reading it to her.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, that's good though. Okay,
yeah, sometimes it's him reading it.
Yeah, we're still trying to find some middle ground.
Yeah.
I need to start doing that too. I have a Bible at my house. I really do. It has my name engraved in it and everything. And I'm gonna one day just open. Do you just open it up and read whatever's there? Or do you like?
I used to do that when I was like. Teenager. Now it's more I'm doing actually a Bible in a Year plan with some ladies on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, good.
I don't know who's really doing it.
They're lying, right? They're just Googling Bible verses. That's gonna be me. I'm gonna get up one day and just open it. It's gonna go to the part where Leviticus, or what's the part where I'm going to hell? Oh man. Well, there's this tone for the day. Dominican Republic, here I come. No, kidding. Okay, you know what? Can we talk? I really have always been intrigued about your relationship beginnings, okay? Only because of like, I've known of Adrian's past because obviously we talked about it, okay? And then I got to know a little bit about you. So when you guys first met, okay, what was that experience like for you guys as a couple? Because, the Fajardos, first of all, before I say this, y'all come a long way. I'm so proud of every one of you. I ran into your dad and I broke my foot. And I believe his wife and I had the same doctor. So I saw him. I was crutching. I was a hot mess. And I'm so happy to see that he still looks vibrant and well and healthy. You know what I mean? Yeah. But back in the day, you guys definitely had the rep, the name. You know what I mean? Like everybody knew. Everybody, you can Google it. So I guess when y'all first got together, was that something that you were a little standoffish about in the beginning? Or like, oh no, this family's a little mad.
Well, when she first met me, I had gold teeth.
Did you really?
I had a grill on top and bottom.
So she liked the bad boys, huh? Were you one of those? Like secretly, she was like.
I don't know how she liked me. I was like,
did you have a grill? Did he have a grill for real?
I did have a grill.
I need a picture. I need to see that.
He might still have it. I don't know.
Oh, okay. You should give it to the baby as a hand-me-down.
I think that what really made me like her is that I asked, Cece, do you like my grill?
Yeah.
And she wasn't into all that.
Right.
And she was like,
not Cece.
Man. She was like, and it don't matter to me as long as you're happy. And I was like, oh, shoot.
Oh, so this is different.
Yeah,
it was different.
How did you guys meet? Was it in Hewitt or was it in South Waco?
Yeah.
And were you there when all that happened behind the house?
A lot of questions.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, first of all, how'd you meet?
We met at the South Waco Recreation Center. So I was working there.
Okay.
So I had a lot of friends who worked there. But then, I moved. I got a different job. So then he started working there.
Yeah.
So we had the same friends.
Oh, okay.
And so we were really just friends first, which
right.
I definitely recommend if you're trying to get into a relationship.
Is
be
that
friends
a thing?
first.
Be friends first. Is that okay?
I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was the best.
I was not used to that though. She would really friend zone me.
Okay.
And I'll be like, man, I'm not used to that.
So you were used to girls always just flocking at you, is what you're saying.
I mean,
we all know about the past. It's okay.
I mean, honestly, but like that's what made me like, man, I really like this girl because she keep friends on me. She really just want to be my friend.
Oh, God.
And that's cool. You know what I mean?
I would have dusted you a long time ago. Forget that. I don't date. I've already made the decision that I'm not dating. Oh, yeah? And I don't know how I can still be gay because I don't want to date gay guys anymore. I can't do it. I think I'm just going to be lonely my whole life. I need my fans to stick around. No, okay, so she was friend zoning you all the time. So how persistent were you being in the beginning? Or
well, I mean, I was pretty persistent.
because you had
but
the grills.
I had the grills, and I had something called the slab, the Buick, and I had the speakers. I had everything, man.
Wait, you used to have the loud, like what Jeffrey wants to put in my car speakers? Like,
that kind of speakers.
Yeah, Cece, what the heck, man? Stay away.
Stay away, exactly.
Okay.
No, I saw the real him.
Yeah, she did see the real me. Yeah,
Yeah, I saw it was on the inside. It was,
Oh,
that makes it feel good.
Yeah.
no, okay. So you were obviously like, at that time when you guys had met, because I think when we talked about you in your beginning of your life, when you were in college, is when you started experimenting with drugs and drinking and all that. And so were you still going through that when you met Cece, or?
Yeah, honestly, man, I really got into a real big, deep depression when I got with her. That sounds kind of weird because I never seen anything stay around in my life. And so I kind of felt like, man, she's just going to go ahead and bounce out of my life too. So I'd rather hurt her first than her hurt me first.
Oh, okay.
And so it was more of like, I wanted to be with her, but then I really didn't.
He was scared.
Really?
And so I really kept trying to break it off with her. Like, man, I don't think it's a right idea for you to be with me.
Oh, really?
And so, yeah, right.
Yeah, no, girl. So what made you keep being like, no, stay, like, come back?
Well, I knew how he really felt about me, so.
Was that God? That was God telling you that?
Yeah.
No, I'm not playing for real. God tells me things all the time, and he's right. And so,
Well, it's crazy because I had like 5 goals that I was looking for in a girl.
Okay.
And my sister was the one that was really saying, hey, bro, this girl got all 5 of your goals.
Really?
And I was like, man, you're right.
Yeah.
And she's like, this could be something good. And I'm like, oh, man, this probably could be something good, you know?
Oh, wow.
And so, and that whole night I couldn't sleep. And I knew it was God doing something in the midst of me not sleeping. I was like, man, I know the Lord is calling me.
Yeah. And before that, he wasn't talking to me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
was he leaving you on red? Well, we didn't have all that yet, right? No, okay.
I was like, I even told my friends that night, I'm done. I'm not going to try anymore.
Right.
And then that same night, he was just blowing up my phone. And I wake up in the morning, like all these messages, calls. Yes. And I'm like, okay, what happened?
Were you feeling yourself, though? You're a little bit like... I'm gonna let it go just a little bit longer.
Honestly, and that's what she did. She friend zoned me again.
I can't. You see, this is why I'm getting single. I don't have time for the games.
Exactly.
I don't.
She friend zoned me again at that time, and I was like, "What the heck?" But that's when I was like, "Oh crap! It's gonna take some time."
Can I share my coup de grace real quick? Just because it's funny because you said that. I had the last person that I really tried to like. Okay, this is actually gonna be something, right? Like we're gonna be together type stuff. Texted me the next day. My friends make fun of me all the time. They know the story. I'm not going to get into it because it's about you. But texted me and said, you're doing too much. And basically, like, he's too good for me. You don't have a job. You don't have a car. I have to go pick you up. Okay, I have an award-winning show. And a full-time, like, get out of here. That's why I was like, I don't have time for this anymore. What do you guys do to I mean, so obviously you were going through your depression and whatever. You text Cece, blow her up. First of all, how many times did he call you?
Gosh, I don't know. You know how you like scroll... You know,
it wasn't that much. So wait, were you Adrian? Were you at home talking about? Come on, please pick up, please. Okay.
It was late at night, and I was like, man, I gotta make sure. I gotta give her a call. I gotta do this.
Oh wow.
She did not answer no one time that night.
I was asleep.
Okay, so then how long did it take for you to actually call him?
I think right when I woke up.
And I was working at Starbucks at the time, and I seen that she texted. Okay. So I went to the restroom and opened it up. And shit, and it was not what I expected. I was like, what?
Come get you a coffee, girl.
Yeah.
That's cool. Gosh, did you guys ever have to deal with any, I guess, trying times in your relationship? Because obviously you had your past, right? And then you seem like you didn't have, like, your past wasn't that traumatic. I'm sure things happen, you know what I mean? But I'm sure nobody raided your house. You know what I mean? So
just shot it up, you know?
Well, yeah. No, but I guess, you know, with you going through what you have gone through and then meeting somebody like Cece or you meeting somebody like that, how did you guys find middle ground to, I guess, keep a strong relationship with each other and change? Because obviously, from what you guys are telling me, it sounds like you completely 360'd. You know, you ain't coming here with no grills and sagging pants. You know what I mean? And then you've always just seemed like you've been well kept to me. You know what I mean? Just put together. And
we had a lot of differences at first. It was his, you know, I grew up in Hewitt most of my life, and he was South Waco most of his life. So it was different.
It was different.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was two different cultures, but I think that what really started to change us because we had a very difficult relationship at first. Yeah, it was really hard.
Yeah, it was to the point of being toxic.
Yeah,
gotcha.
And I think that when there was a friend who came and just prayed with us, and she would send emails after emails just praying for us. It was like almost like she was an angel to us. Wow. And she like really saw the potential of what we could possibly be as a relationship. And it was because of those prayers is the reason why that we started to like, man, we can trust each other more. Or man, we can actually move forward and not be so focused on our past, but actually move forward with our relationship.
For sure.
Yeah. And so that was great.
Did you ever hear, like, you know, this is a small town, so were people ever in your ear talking about, ooh, girl, don't get with him. Like, you know, he got that little past, you know what I mean? Or he's a roach, you know, don't do all that. You know?
Actually I got the opposite,
really?
Especially like some of his family members that I knew. I knew a couple of his cousins before.
Yeah.
We got together, but they were saying, oh, he's a great guy. Aww. Yeah, they would always tell me like, oh, you got a good one, you know. So
and I hear the same thing about Cece, which is great. I mean, we didn't really know too much about each other.
Yeah,
for sure. Really good. For sure. When you mentioned that the relationship, I can just ask this real quick, and then we gotta take a break. But when you mentioned that the relationship almost got to the point where it was toxic for each other, I mean, were you dealing with like trust issues and stuff like that, or what was really going on?
Yeah, I think it had a lot to do with like insecurities, not really being confident in ourselves, and really bringing all of our past relationship problems into this problem.
Gotcha.
And that's something that you cannot do when we had to learn that.
That almost broke us. Like,
really?
You're gonna be like him, or I'm gonna be like, you know.
Had you been like cheated on before by other men and stuff like that, or with? You know, I don't trust anybody, so I don't.
I have, but I've also cheated on someone too.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Just more of the, I don't know, like. Just getting hurt type thing. Yeah.
Well, I think that for me, you know, one of the biggest things for me was I got left by my ex, and she had left and had got married and got pregnant, and this was all when I was very young. Yeah. And so I would continuously say, man, she's gonna do the same thing, or whenever she would like not respond as quickly, I automatically think, oh man, she's gonna do the same thing. And so I would just automatically just compare it right there and then. Okay. Yeah. And it was destroying our relationship because I kept bringing that past into us.
Wow. I have to like really rethink about this relationship thing now for me personally. It sounds like, you know, with all the insecurities that you guys are dealing with each other, that's why I didn't want to be in a relationship anymore, because I feel like I can't trust anybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like everybody does the same thing. It's a joke, you know? So yeah, were you open with Adrian about, you know, what you had done? You know, I guess as far, okay. Yeah. And was it red flags or?
No, not for me. I think because I could see her heart and I was open to a lot to her too. And I think that's a big deal when we're being truthful with each other. Like, man, look, this is what I did and this is what she did.
Lay it all on the table. Yeah, for sure.
And kind of just lay it out there.
And now it's like, now we have like boundaries. Like stuff we know we're not okay with. You know, just.
Like no Snapchat. I know a guy whose girlfriend left him the minute he created a Snapchat. Oh wow! All her little goons Snapchatted his Snapchat and sent it to her, and she said, "Pack your stuff when you get to that."
Well, I think the boundaries are important though. You know what I mean? And I really, one thing that I just know what Cece doesn't like, and she doesn't like when I'm not trusting her. So I got to be able to work. And how am I really gonna how am I really loving her if I'm not really trusting her?
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know what I mean? And so like that's one thing that's really irks her is that I get to be able to just trust her. Whatever she says, I'm trusting.
Okay.
And so letting her yes be a yes, and I'm trusting in that yes, whatever that is.
For sure. So what irks you about Cece? If she,
Go ahead, you tell.
yeah,
Wait, what?
he aired you. No, he said one thing that irks you is when you feel like he's not. Where he feels like you're not trusting him is what you just said.
When
I got
I'm
it
not
mixed up.
trusting her.
Well, you're not trusting her.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what about the opposite?
Are you?
So you're asking Adrian?
I'm asking you what irks you
Yeah.
about.
What?
Yeah.
I got that mixed up. I'm sorry.
No, what irks you that what I do to what
Right, like, you know what I mean. Hold on, maybe we should just move on. Okay, so anyway, we're gonna take a quick break, okay, because we need it. And while we take the quick break, we're gonna drink. Well, I finished my delicious tea. Shout out to Cha Community.
Yes.
Jaja Chen. What's the guy's name?
Devin.
Devin.
Yeah.
Okay, and I just found out y'all had some food too, so I need to go there and get me some pot stickers. And this lavender jasmine tea, darling, was delicious, darling. And when we get back, we're gonna learn more about Adrian and Cece's relationship. Obviously, I want to know more about how you built your relationship with your dad, of course. How Cece played the role in keeping you guys in a strong, faithful relationship, and much more. Oh, and I wanted your opinion about being an educator. We're gonna get into this for sure. Okay, so make sure you guys stay tuned here onto The Public Affair. Don't go nowhere, darling. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this really great episode of The Public Affair with Adrian and Cece Fajardo. Before we continue, I definitely want to use this opportunity to give a shout out to just a few more of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to us by Juliana Resendez with JR Renovations. She's a general contractor specializing in commercial businesses and residential homes, darling. She's a true queen, leveling the playing field in a male-dominated industry. Follow on Facebook and Instagram at JR Renovations and call the number on the screen. That girl is the epitome of giving back to her community. I love that woman so much. Thank you for all you've done for me in The Public Affair. I'm so happy that we got to build a friendship and reconnect. You're an amazing girl. Thank you. Of course, the Banda's hauling service with Julian and Ana Banda. They rent dump trailers. You fill it up and they haul it away in case nobody else wants to come and get it because they're being lazy. No shade. They also do junk removal and tree brush removals and haul cars in and out of town. Your car breaks down. He says, I'm going to be there in 20 minutes. He's there in 5 minutes, girl. He's going to beat you to it. Book now with the number on the screen to Julian and Ana Banda. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair with Banda's hauling service. Truly appreciate you guys. Ooh, of course, the Taquisa Palacios. I'm starving. Onisimo and Lupe Palacios. They provide delicious and affordable tacos for any event. Meat choices include carne asada, pollo, chorizo, pastor, barbacoa. And don't forget the aguas frescas. The flavors include limonada, horchata, piña, melon, jamaica, and tamarindo. They also provide all the plasticware. Book now with the number on the screen. Definitely affordable. Definitely worth rolling around in. I love me some Taquisa Palacios. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Ooh, of course, the Alley's Drive-In with Alexis and Diana Rivas. Their convenience store located where the old Kobe's is in South Waco, 2105 Dutton Avenue to be exact, darling. Stop by for delicious snacks or a cold drink. If you need beer for a party or for yourself, they have a huge freezer stocked with a wide selection of ice cold beer. You can order from the kitchen too with the delicious selection of food to satisfy your appetite or to go with that delicious ice cold beer, darling. Stop by this monumental and convenient spot today in South Waco. Oh, and they have Enchilada Friday. Get it with the pig's feet. Get it with the pig's feet. I know it sounds gross, but it's really not. Whoever said pig's feet goes with enchiladas was right. All right, they were absolutely right. It's delicious. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. And of course, to Elite Barbershop with my boy Sid Rodriguez, located on Hewitt Drive. Call now with the number on the screen to book or download the Cut app, and walk-ins are welcome as well. They also have Marcus Guerrero, Chris Reyes, Santos Cordova, David Rodriguez, Isaac Chavez, Clint Fletcher, and Isai over there making you look super snackish, and as snackish as I have for more than 110 episodes of The Public Affair. Can you believe we said that? Goodness gracious, and they've been it since the beginning. And congratulations to you as well, Sid. That 2022 Back to School Bash was awesome. I love being a part of it. Thank you for having me a part of it, and thank you for being a longtime sponsor of The Public Affair. All right, guys, we're gonna get right back into it. One of my favorite couples is here. Adrian and Cece Fajardo are in the building. Adrian's back for part 2, darling. Let's go.
God.
Is it weird watching me do that? Is that
No,
I always wonder
No.
what it's like on the other end.
I'm just like impressed.
Yeah, dude, I'm
thank you.
impressed. I'm like, how's he do that?
I've done commercials for on the radio. I was on the radio for 7 years. You know that. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But just side note, I was telling somebody, I can say it now because I don't work anymore. One time I had to record a Dunkin' Donuts commercial and I was drunk. I was drunk. They aired it for like 7 weeks. And it was the most lit commercial ever. I can say it now. Again, nobody ever suspected a thing. That's how professional I am. All right?
Wow.
Like, I didn't slur my words or nothing, but every time I heard it on the radio, I was like, oh. I can't believe they actually heard that. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, well, welcome back. Just pick it up from there. All right. You know what? So before we left, I really love that you guys got to go into like the deeper parts in your relationship and all that. I think, you know, it's really great to hear that you guys are both like imperfect, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, and that you guys had your own little insecurities and struggles. Because when I look at you from the outside looking in, they're just the perfect couple. You know what I mean? That are faith driven. They look great. They're great together. But you guys went through the same thing that a lot of people go through. So.
Yeah, and there's still stuff we can work on.
Yeah,
we
for
still
sure.
have our.
What's the main what's the main mold that keeps it all together for you guys?
God.
God.
Yeah.
And I think that's so great when I seen, like you said, when Cece was starting to wake up and read her Bible every morning. And it was to the point where like, hey, Adrian, I got to have my time with God. And I'm like, dang. But I understood it though.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's great because I know the Lord's going to love her way more and way much deeper than I could ever love her.
Right. So is that when you take the baby outside and take her for a walk and then let her have time with God?
Well, you know what? I think I need to work on that. I need to work on that. And I can work on that. That's teamwork right there.
For sure, yeah. This is definitely probably like the biggest, I was going to say obstacle. Like the biggest test in y'all's relationship is being new parents, right? I think that's for anybody who becomes new parents. I wonder, you know, for you, I've heard that, you know, obviously women go through postpartum, you know what I mean? But what about for the men? Did you ever have your own insecurities as a guy, like as a guy's point of view, like as a father, you know what I mean?
Man, thankfully I didn't. And I know there is some men that do go through that, but I'm so glad that I had, I think communities is important. So I've always had and continue to have like community support from people that I could reach out to and they could speak life into me. And so I'm so glad for my brothers that are able to do that too.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Okay, for sure. You know what? I kind of wanted to talk to, well, mainly you, but you know, I definitely want your perspective as well. You know, I think when you came on the show the first time, was Homer still incarcerated, or he had just got out?
I think he just got out.
Because he was fresh out. Because I think when he came on my show, he was just barely 3 months out.
Yeah,
something like that.
He was just probably fresh out.
Yeah, I remember because he had an alarm that went off in the middle of the show. He's like, I gotta go. And I was like, I guess we gotta cut it short. But he doesn't have to go through all that anymore, right?
No, he does, and he actually got off probation back in February, and so
I really am happy for him and you guys. I really am. Yeah, I think that's great because his story was so riveting and just. I want you to go back and watch it again because it was just so crazy. Like the things that you guys had went through the last 15 years. And it's leading me up to my question, you know, with him being out of your life, because again, I recorded with you first and then him a month or two later. How did you work on rebuilding your relationship with your dad after he was in jail for 15 years, right?
He was in jail for 15 years.
So you guys obviously were not close.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we were close, but it was close to the point where it would be off and on. And so there'd be times where he didn't call for like 7 or 8 months or even 5 to 6 months. And it would be so hard to keep trusting in his word. Hey, Adrian, I'm going to come home. All right, man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Right.
I'm like, man, I don't know if it's hard when you ain't heard from him 7 months.
Okay.
And it's like, man, I don't know if I believe in that. So there was to a point where I just didn't trust his word. I didn't really see him as a father anymore. I wanted to see him as a father to my sister or be a father to my brother, but not a father to me. And so when he got out, it was to the point where I got real depressed when he was coming home.
Oh, really?
Actually, when somebody's coming home, you think you'll get excited, but I really fell into a deep depression because he was still gonna have to do his job and build his trust to be able to build a relationship with me again.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it was really just seeing his daily life these next few months after he came back home.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, man, is he really about it? Is he really about the man that he said he was in prison? Right. Is he gonna be to someone outside?
Okay. Right, because a lot of people will go to prison and come out and still follow up with the same lame ways, you know what I mean? And it didn't seem like in Homer's case that was the case. Listen, I've been in prison 15 years. I'm trying to come out and party. Yeah. You know, that's what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? But so it's crazy. I would love to have him back on the show and talk because now he could probably stay the whole time. But you know, no. But you know, honestly, so were you kind of putting him through like the self-test of okay, let's see if he's going to come out, continue to mess up, party, all that mess, or let's see if he's going to really try and rebuild his relationship with his family.
Yeah, so I kind of was testing him out and seeing it's just basically like how I'm gonna mentor another kid at my school. I'm still building that relationship and they're still trying to trust me.
Right.
So the same thing with my father and it was really hard for me to lose my pride and say, man, I don't want nothing to do with him. I don't want him to provide for me or buy me anything.
Yeah.
But until I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna give it up to God.
Okay.
And I am gonna be submissive to His leadership in my role, and being a father to me.
Yeah.
And so it took time, but I finally let him go. And I remember me and Cece going to Arkansas, and that was a time when we were in the woods, and I remember it just feeling like it was therapy, and I just felt like, man, this is a strong pull to really just let my dad be my dad.
Okay, gotcha.
And if he wants to provide for me, even though he didn't provide for over these 15 years, you know what? I'm going to let him do it because it's going to empower him to be the father that God has called him to be.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
So, Cece, I wonder, you know, from your perspective, like, you know, your husband's dad's about to come out of jail 15, you probably never met him, you know, you're probably unfamiliar with the situation. So what was your perspective on the whole thing? I mean, did you push Adrian to build a relationship, or were you just kind of letting it go on, like, to his decision?
Yeah, really just his decision. I had met Homer once, but just our conversations, like mine and Adrian's, and then just getting to know him, like I could tell that God did change his heart, and he was, his word was, I mean, real.
Yeah,
Yeah, his
sure.
word was real.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah, well, it's like, and like I just said a minute ago, like a lot of these people come out of jail, and you know, what do they call it? They sing it, what is it, the jailhouse blues? Is that what it's called, or something like that? Where for like the first 2 weeks, they're all about God and stuff like that, and they go right, and they go back to their old ways and stuff like that. And so,
it's very easy to.
And I think but I think also too, Andrew, is that there's a lot of prisoners who don't have the same family support that my dad had, and so there was a lot of family that was keeping him accountable and saying, hey, look, man, you cannot, because it's something called recidivism, where you know, prisoners are more likely to go back to prison because when they come out, they don't have nowhere to go, and they have a record, and it's like they can't get a job or they can't go provide for them, so they're like, well, I'm gonna go back to prison because that's I'm taken care of.
Right. You know what I thought was cool too. Me and your mom are friends on Facebook, as well, and I gotta shout out to her. If this just disclaimer, if this next part you want me to take it out, just tell me. But I remember seeing, I always wanted like her perspective as well. You know what I mean? I gotta have her on the show. But you know, I remember she made a post this one time that said, I'm just so grateful that your father's married or getting married or one of the two, and you know, obviously they had not seen each other for a long time or whatever. She's like, I'm just glad that everything is just like everybody's cool with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I thought that was like a really cool thing to see, because obviously, you know, I mean, if your husband's in jail for 15 years and then he comes out and he's not with you, it's like, you know what I mean? So I wonder what it was like for your mother, like for your whole family, to deal with something like that. And you know what I mean?
It was very hard.
Yeah.
And it's very hard for my mom, because it was really her that was really keeping that relationship alive, because she would take us to go see my dad, and sometimes she would spend her whole rent money just to take us to go see, because she wanted us to have a father. Yeah,
for sure.
And so my mom put in a lot of work, and she did a lot to be able to keep that relationship alive.
Yeah.
And so it was very hard for her, but it's a very strong statement that she said, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
And and a lot of people can't say that.
No.
But she said that, and that's an inspiration for me.
Yeah, because like it was like a sense of redemption, because she went through her own stuff too. We talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
Right, where she was drinking heavily, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like we had everything at one point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now we've got nothing. You know, so I just think I'm just really proud of your family, just for everything that you guys have had to endure, and where you guys all seem like you have a really good head on your shoulders. You know what I mean? Your dad looks great. Your mom, I've never met her, but I follow her on Facebook. She looks great too. You know what I mean? And I met your dad's wife. Obviously, like I said, we have the same foot doctor, and she was very. I have to apologize. You know, she walked into the doctor and said hi to me like we've been best friends, and I did not know who it was until I saw Homer, and I was like, oh, this is his wife. You know, that happens to me a lot now, Adrian. Like, I'd be feeling bad. You know, I was like, maybe she watches the show. Hey.
You're famous.
Whatever. All right. You know what? Okay, so. I wanted to get into it with you guys about you were both educators. I mean, you're a stay-at-home mom now, and then you're doing something different in the school.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I feel like personally, the state of education has changed drastically in the years that, I mean, we're relatively the same age. You know what I mean? What is y'all's opinions on the state of education in 2022? And be honest, because you're a stay-at-home mom now, so it's okay.
Yeah, right.
No, like seeing my coworkers going back, it's like, man, yeah, I do kind of miss it, you know.
Okay.
But I just feel like there's so many issues with just how the state of Texas chooses to do some things. And one being the standardized test. Like I don't think it's one test fits all. I mean, thinking about the kids with learning disabilities or just, you know, mental health issues or lower income neighborhoods. I don't know. It just doesn't seem fair to me.
Yeah. And that's the reason why I'm not going back into the classroom is because I failed my content test. And so my teaching career was based upon a test.
What does that mean, your content test?
So when you become a teacher, you got your 4-year degree when you get your bachelor's degree, but you still have to take like three tests to be able to still be a teacher.
The 4-year degree isn't enough?
Exactly. Right?
I went to school.
And you paid thousands of dollars.
Aren't they letting some people be teachers with no degrees now? Is that what's going on?
I'm pretty sure they're going that way.
Allegedly.
There's a big shortage.
Before they sue me. Okay, I can't get sued. Okay.
But and this is where I was never a great test taker. I'm not. I'm not. And so when I was taking this test, I'm like, it was so boring. I was like, dude, imagine how the kids feel.
What is the content? Like, do they ask you to do your ABCs in Spanish? Or like, what do you do?
Basically, it just shows that you know what you're about to teach. Like, you know it yourself so that you can teach it.
Well, we all know that 2 + 2 = 4.
Yeah.
There's some hard stuff on there.
There is very hard content on there. And and there's stories that I don't even understand those stories because I was never raised in those environments to hear those stories. So the same stories that are being told in those content tests are being told in the standardized testing. And so a lot of my kids don't understand those stories because they don't know those stories.
Yeah, there's a lot of words that it's just gonna go in one ear out the other because they've never been exposed to those words. So it's like,
we're talking about like the extensive vocabulary used in the content test.
We have to expose them. We have to teach them these skills. It's all just fitted to a test. But
I didn't know teachers had to. I thought you guys just got the degree and go apply for the job. Like, but look, I went to Baylor. I'm a qualified teacher now. You know what I mean? Or hey, I worked at Burger King and now I can teach too, 1st grade.
It's like, and then you have to pay for those tests. It comes out of our pocket as teachers.
Aren't y'all not even making nothing as teachers? No, excuse me. Mike was a teacher, right? Mike was a teacher. My producer was a teacher too at University High School. Right? You taught computer, right? You weren't making shit. That's why you do this now. Right? Exactly. Okay. No, so you have to already pay for the test. Like, wait, hold on. I have more questions. I need to add them. Okay. So you failed your content test.
Yep.
Okay. And so, I mean, did that strike a blow for you? Or were you just kind of relieved? Like, well, I don't want to do this anymore anyway. Like,
well, it did strike. I was very discouraged at first. And while I was taking a test, like I said, man, this school is not boring. I had so much fun with my kids doing projects, doing all kind of things to be able to help them critical think.
You made that video that went viral.
Man,
that was cute.
And it was a great turnout. But it's like, man, our kids are not going to be able to expand their critical thinking skills if we just solely focus on the test.
Okay.
It's because not a lot of kids are able to take that test. They're not good test takers.
No,
they're not.
Yeah, it just this past weekend, our 8-year-old nephew was like, I'm nervous about the STAR test.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, like you're already stressing about that.
You should be. You know, I failed my state test in high school like 9 times. Like I think it was my science one and my math one 6 times. I couldn't walk the stage because I failed that test.
Wow.
They kept that from me. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I had to go while everybody was, you guys, I graduated from Midway as well. 2009. And I remember the night of graduation, girl, I was working.
Wow.
I was working on Jalisco, shout out Jalisco's. And I just remember going to the bathroom crying because
That's
I was
tough.
8 o'clock rolls. I'm supposed to be walking the stage with the people I went to school with. And they were like, no, they take stuff like that away from you because you failed that test. My grades were all right. You know what I mean? I passed everything, but they were just like, no, that's one of the requirements to walk stage. You can't do it. And I remember went through it because that's a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what about you and the content test though? I mean, do you guys think they should just take that away? I think that's a little bit expensive for you guys. Has that always been a thing, or?
Yeah,
it has always been.
I think it has. I mean, I did pretty well on all of my subject areas and ESL, and so, but I've always been a good test taker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Test taking is okay. I like tests.
okay.
Yeah, not so much.
You know what? I think it's fair to say that you guys in the education field, you worked with mainly inner city kids. Is that fair to say? Did you find a lot of challenges in that? Teaching kids from like these types of backgrounds, because a lot of inner city kids, obviously they come from broken homes and are exposed to a lot of things when they're very young. So like you were just saying, they're not like paying attention. You know what I mean? Did you guys like deal with a lot of challenges in that?
I think me and Cece have two different perspectives on that. So go ahead and talk about your school.
Yeah, well, I actually learned a lot, like, I guess just their background, just from being with him.
Oh.
So he taught me a lot of just how they would respond or react or what they've gone through. Just so that was good to just learn from Adrian. But I would say just behaviors are a little different compared to schools in the suburbs, or right. I guess being at Midway, we didn't have, it wasn't
really all that much going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At its time, I feel like now it's a lot more diverse in terms of
I think so.
The type of environments that are going on there. Yeah.
Yeah. I just know that when I was in elementary, the kids weren't behaving like, I guess, how they are now,
like cursing and twerking in the bathroom and stuff like
inappropriate
stuff. And now they have the phones and the Instagram. My little
They're
cousin
exposed to so much.
It's crazy, right? Yeah. How do you find it difficult to block them from that negative exposure? I mean, or is that even your job to do that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think it just really depends on your relationship with them.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's what we've always said. Like, if you don't have a relationship with them, or if you're treating them a certain way, already labeling them as bad, or like that can.
Do you find a lot of teachers guilty of that? It's okay to say.
I think I can't. I have been too.
Oh, okay.
It's very easy to just just see this kid as this label or whatever,
Or like you're already going to be bad, and I'm going to treat you as such, or I'm not going to give you the opportunity to be a good kid. Is that fair to say?
Or even just already having these set expectations of how this kid's going to be in your class. Like, you have to just get to know these students for yourself.
For sure.
And I think and when you talk about inner city, I think the narratives on inner city kids is what destroys the kids. It's those narratives that say they can't do it, or they act a certain way. When that's false. When you go and sit there and you listen to those stories, and when you go in there, sit there and you believe in those kids, then they're gonna perform for you. They're gonna do whatever it takes to be able to get the job done. But it's just that perspective that you have to change on the kids.
I got you. Did you find more of an advantage dealing with inner city kids, since you kind of grew up in the same environment? Or
it gave me a huge advantage, and that's something that a lot of teachers didn't have.
Right.
But when I came from my story, I understood. And so when the parents will come in, they say, my kid is struggling, they're behind in their reading scores, or they're single moms. Well, I got to encourage them and say, hey, look, I went through the same thing.
For sure.
But that don't give up on your child. I was struggling in sped classes, but I still made it out.
Wow.
And so it kind of gave them a lot of hope.
Yeah, for sure. It goes back to my question about them being exposed to a lot more now. They all got the cell phones. They're not even taking up cell phones in school no more these days, are they? Like,
it depends on the policy and the teacher, but they can.
Doesn't it make
on the school?
Why were we getting our phones taken up when we couldn't even do nothing on them? You ever think about that? Like, we didn't have the internet on our flip phones, so why were we getting our phone? Like, what were we doing on our phones? But no, because I have a younger cousin who she lives out of the city, and her and her little friends are always in the bathroom. You know what I mean? On Instagram, dancing and stuff. They take your ass to class. You know what I mean? So, goodness, I wonder, with the advantages, do you feel like you guys were ever able to impact? Like, did anybody ever come up to you, like a child, and say, you really changed my perspective on things? Or is it too early to tell that young? You know what I mean?
I think Adrian did really well at that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was more focused on test
where your
scores
homework
and
at? Okay. Yeah,
the school, the content, but he was really good at those relationships. If you want.
But I think that, you know, one thing that I focused on really a lot was it was not just on me, it was on me and the parents and the community.
Okay.
So it was a holistic approach where we all work together. And
For
so
sure.
the kids saw that I was in their local communities. They saw when I was in their apartment complex. I went to the people's, they all went to their front door. If they didn't answer the phone, I said, hey, look, your child is doing this.
Okay.
And so they saw that, like, he's going to come to my house.
Oh, you was going to, oh.
Yeah. So it really inspired them. Like, man, he's gonna really do what he says he's gonna do. And so I think that they knew that I was not gonna give up on them. At such a young age, they understood that.
Wow.
And so it really, I know I seen life change happen within that classroom.
That's really great. So but now you're gonna go back and continue working there, just not as a teacher. And it's hard to say what you're doing now.
Well, I think that my main focus when I go back is me by myself, I can only do so much. But if I was to equip 10 other me's, if I was to equip more leaders, we'll have a bigger impact.
I got you.
So that's my main goal.
Do you guys think that yous individually as educators can change like what's going, like you were just saying about a lot of the satisfaction that you're having with like the state of Texas in terms of like the standardized testing and stuff? Do teachers have that voice to change that type of narrative or to change that type of, you know, thing going on?
I think together we can. It's just,
some people are sellouts, huh? They are. Some people are sellouts, right? They're just there for the money, right? Are some teachers just there for the money? And then what money, right? what $18 an hour?
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's just we just conform to something rather than like standing up for something better. It's just like, oh, this is just how it is type thing.
Do you eventually want to go back, or?
Maybe one day.
Okay, when they stop doing content.
I really, okay. No, I really miss the kids.
Yeah.
So I am going to be in Stars Book Club.
Oh.
So my mom and I are going to do that, and so that's basically just empowering the kids through reading and meeting with a group of kids once a week, and so I'm hoping I can see some of my past students. Yeah, I'm really happy. Yeah,
that's good. That's good. You know, so I just had a teacher on here, a coach, Matthew Ordonez. So it was his second time on the show as well. Yeah, and he talked a lot about he dealt really horrible with alcoholism. To the point where he was like, he said it on the show, like in the middle of school, like during lunch, he would go drink. You know what I mean? It was bad. And so we kind of shifted into the subject of mental health with teachers and having psychologists, on-campus psychologists for teachers. Do you guys, are they not doing that? Or how do you guys feel about something like that? Do you feel like the teachers need something like that?
They actually hired one for Waco ISD. They hired a counselor for the teachers, and it was like a free service or something. I just remember seeing something like that. So yeah, that is a new thing that they started doing, which I think the teachers need. Right. I just hope that the district can make a way for the teachers to have time to do that. Okay. Because the teachers, I already feel like have so much time.
So much going on.
Yeah.
So it's maybe it's just kind of being put in place to say, oh, we have one now. But it's like, you got to go grade and you got to go teach. And you got to go this, you got to do so you don't ever have time or anything. Have you guys ever been exposed to, I mean, because we didn't even, we talked about it, and for somebody like him, like he's a coach, you know what I mean? His family is a prominent name, everything. And you never think that the teachers, and after that episode, it made me see things through a different lens, because it's like, we're not even checking on our teachers. You know what I mean? And you guys got, like, excuse my language, the shit end of the stick when it comes to, you know, really having to, empower students, having to motivate them, having to teach them, because that is your job. You know what I mean? So did you guys ever have those types of experiences individually where you were like, I need to get away from, you know what I mean? Like, I need to seek counseling for this or something.
Well, I think that it could have gotten to that, but I think that me and Cece have really been intentional with implementing our values. And so that value system was my wife, well, first off, God, my wife, my kids, and then my job comes after all those three things. And then my job comes before those things, and I tell it no matter what kind of raise or no matter what kind of test I'm gonna sit there and say, if it's gonna get in between that, I'm not gonna let it happen. And so it was very intentional with with doing that right there.
Yeah, and I've seen other educators putting that time with their loved ones first, and still making it work, and because you will lose yourself.
Right. Okay. So you guys do think it's a necessary thing to be having in school?
Oh yeah.
Do they have it for kids too, or
they have licensed psychologists?
Yeah.
I think.
When I was in elementary, I had a psychologist in elementary school, in the school that was in New York. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I didn't know if they had that here still or whatever.
I really don't know too much about that. I know we have counselors, but
how do you guys as teachers not let a child's circumstances affect you personally? You know what I mean? So I mean, because we mentioned working in inner city schools and stuff like that. So obviously you're not naive to a kid that's probably going through some abuse at home or something like that. How do you not like react? You know what I mean? Like attack a parent or something. You know what I'm talking about.
There have been times where we're just like, man, we want to adopt this kid. You know, like it does get. I don't know. What do you think?
And I think that there has been a lot of times where me and Cece would just sit there and cry together because of what we've seen. I mean, but also like those situations have really changed us, and it did like a radical change for we need to be here. We gotta be here because we done seen so much.
Yeah.
And we done experienced so much. We done seen so much brokenness, but also understanding that we're broken people too. So we're just walking with broken people as broken people.
Okay, got you. Yeah, for sure. God, that's got to be tough. Geez, man. Okay, well, we are running out of time, unfortunately. But before we go, Adrian, you started doing motivational reels on Instagram, I've seen. Okay. Yeah. And so what was the inspiration about that? You seem like to really be... what was the inspiration behind it? I lost my train of thought at the T.
Yeah. So you're asking like what made me want to do it? Yeah. So I think that, I've just been really learning from other people. And I think that that's really something that's really been inspiring me is I think how can I influence the culture? And so that's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to influence the culture. If I could just reach one person, influence one person, and that person influences the next person, then I think we're going to see a better world. And so that's what's motivating me. It's like, how can I better serve, better equip other people? And so I've been invited now to a lot of public speaking events.
Oh, really?
And so that's just my goal right there. That's my motive. And I think that how can I build more leaders out there in the world?
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Now, Cece, do you ever plan on doing something like that too? Like, because you seem like a little bit more quieter on social media.
It's all the introvert, but yeah, probably not.
No.
It may be in the form of writing, but he's got the speaking.
I've become an inspiration too. Can you believe that? Me, of all people, I don't know how. Like, nothing that I do is inspirational. I always tell people, don't be like me unless you're gonna have a successful podcast. But don't do anything that I do, please. I'm not. Okay. No, you know what? Just like I've shared this on the show before. I had a 14. Well, I don't know why kids are watching my show. Okay, that's what I'm saying. They get exposed too much. But I had a 14-year-old kid come up to me just a month ago, and he told me, one day I want to be on your show. Like, because I saw you had a pro soccer player on the show, and I want to be a pro soccer player so bad, and one day I want you to interview me. And I was like, oh, wow. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to respond. Like, you guys, the Fajardos are inspirations. People should look up to you. You know what I mean? You guys are. You guys are really well put together. Again, I always label you guys as like a relationship based off of faith. You know what I mean? I only took it because that one time I saw you. And then you put cinnamon in your coffee. That's how I know Jesus talks to you, because who ever thought, right? That's how I do it. And so, I just have to say, when it comes to being inspirations, when we put ourselves like on the media, like what you're doing, you know what I mean? I don't think that we get to choose. You know what I mean? So it makes me really kind of watch more what I do. A little bit, just a little bit. I don't want that 14-year-old boy doing it probably. But anyway, what's next for you guys as a couple, as moving forward, new parents, or again with your jobs or anything like
10
that?
10 kids. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. Oh wow, Adrian, get to work. Shut the cameras off, or keep it on for them. I'll leave.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay. You're not kidding.
Wait, whatever.
Do you want 10 kids? Do you want? No.
He does.
You want 10 kids?
I want a lot.
He wants a lot of
kids. What do you want to do with some kids?
We're gonna have our own classroom. No.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Did you ever barter smart TV? Just a side note.
Yeah.
You did? Okay.
We got to get TV.
You know, when I stood at their house, they were using Google Chrome. I said, if you don't Google TV, I'm going to go buy
Oh, we did get into, we did upgrade.
I was like, what is this?
What is it?
You're the Fajardos. You're not supposed to, what is this whole thing? No, okay, so you want 20 kids, and then what else? Are you excited to go back into the school year?
I am excited.
Okay.
I'm just really excited about the future. And I think that Cece has really been helping me out a lot. And with just everything that I'm doing. And so there's a lot of exciting things that are going to be happening in the future. And so Cece's just been a really big supporter in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
And when it starts off with this podcast, so thank you for having me.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Andrew.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for coming on to the show. You know what I mean? I really did not think you were going to be down. You know, and I've been wanting just a couple teachers on the show, and I really wanted to talk about that educational thing just for a little bit, even though it's just I feel like it's important to talk about. You know what I mean? So it was really a pleasure having you both onto the show. Adrian, of course, always. You know what I mean? I appreciate so much. I appreciate you so much for, number one, trusting me to come on to episode 6. You know what I mean? I opened up a lot about some pretty embarrassing things in my life that had happened the year prior. And I don't regret it. You know what I mean? And I just feel like having a friend like Adrian really allows me to just be okay with like sharing that, you know what I mean? And so I really appreciate knowing you guys and having you guys a part of my life, even after 2 years. I'm glad we didn't lose touch after having Adrian on the show. You know, I thank you for opening your apartment to me. Even though I had to really use the bathroom, but your bathroom was in your bedroom. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't want to
You were holding it that whole time.
Girl, I didn't want to just walk in. You know what I mean? It was terrible. Anyway. Well, thank you guys again so much for coming on. Did I leave anything out? Do you guys want to share one last thing before you guys head out? Or
I think we hit on a lot of
Cece, did you enjoy your time?
Yeah.
I wasn't bad, right? I told you I was going to keep it PG-13.
Yeah, it was good.
I did. I cursed a lot on episode 6, but I was also... Okay. No, thank you guys again so much for watching this episode of The Public Affair. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe again to the Fajardos. Thank you guys again so much for coming on. You guys look great. And many best wishes to you guys in the future and to your daughter and all the other kids that you have going on to the future. Okay? If you want to name one of them after me, that's by all means. Okay. Thank you guys again so much for tuning into this episode. Before we go, I definitely want to use this opportunity to give a shout out. Just a few more of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to us by Soko Soccer Academy with Dominic Gutierrez and Ariana Gutierrez. Remember how fat I was on episode 6? So look at me. Look at me. I'm shredded now. Okay. Soko Soccer Academy with Dominic and Ariana, located at 3304 Franklin Drive. They offer team, small group, and individual skills training. They also have elite skills training to make your kid a superb star athlete, darling. Open play on Mondays and Wednesdays for ages 16 and older at 8:30 with Morrow, aka Silly Buns, and it's only $5 to play. Follow on Facebook. I call him Silly Buns because he's short and aggressive. On Soko Soccer Academy and on Instagram at Soko Soccer. Do you know him?
Who's that?
Morrow Maldonado?
Oh, yeah. Dude.
He's just short and aggressive, right? So I call him Silly Buns because he's silly. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Boat. He was on the show too, episode 49. Okay, that's a Hustle Child Clothing with Blaine Hennig, a clothing brand whose mission is to change the negative connotation of the word hustler. He offers a wide selection of hoodies, hats, and more with the various styles and colors. Clothing is made for both adults and children. Visit hustlechildclothing.com now and shop through Blaine's amazing selection of clothes to Hustle Child Clothing. Thank you so much for sponsoring The Public Affair. Blaine, thank you so much for reaching out and trusting me to do ads for you, bro. I really appreciate you, and it's so nice to meet you. He gave me this backpack of all these really great Hustle Child Clothing like bands and is great. Beautiful, beautiful. I loved it so much. Thank you so much. Of course, to Jeffrey Monreal with Pollo Box and Audio, home for all your LED needs and auto accessories, installation of stereos, door speakers, and audio systems. He also specializes in building custom subwoofer enclosures and much more. Definitely a jack of all trade and your one-stop shop to get everything done in one roof, darling. Jeffrey put that tint in my car. He put the backup camera on my car, the auto start in my car, the Apple Play car stereo in my car, my whole car is pimped. I loved it so much. Jeffrey Monreal, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair, bro, and for being a longtime sponsor. Of course, the Fat Boy Michelada and Botana, my boy Junior Banda, who provides the best Michelada and Botana place for yourself or for a party. Menu of a ton of different items, including Botana bows, chamoy, pickles, and more. Locally operated, so make sure you get the best. And now that you gotta try it, girl. He lives in South Waco. Go hit him up. Yeah, okay. Hit up Fat Boy Michelada. Follow him on Facebook at Fat Boy Michelada y Botana. And if you want the Michelada with mineral water, he can make it for you too. You guys don't drink, right? No. Okay, get it with mineral water. It's good. It's just as good. I promise. Yeah, and he puts a little meal on it. You like shrimp, cucumber, chips, everything. Get it. So, you know what, Junior? Let's get it for them. Please call me. I'll pay for it. I promise. To Fat Boy Michelada and Botana, thank you so much, and of course to J Pedal and Poke with Junior Fuentes, Thomas Robertson, the entire family. I know you guys know J Pedal. Yes, I love some J Pedal. Provide delicious, savory Japanese crepes and poke bowls. They also have handcrafted Thai rolled ice cream for dessert. Choose from the menu or create your own, like I like to do because I like to be in control. Locally operated at University Park Drive and Hewitt Drive. Order online at jpedaltx.com. To J Pedal, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair, and Junior for being a longtime sponsor. sponsor. I truly appreciate you. Again, to you guys who continue to watch the show and support, I love you guys. Thank you so much for continuing to support me in this journey. And of course, to the Fajardos, I love you guys as well. Thank you so much for coming onto the show. And with my tea that's finished, don't forget to always keep it between us.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support in a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.